Greetings, everyone. It is I. I am not dead. I am Panda. I think last I checked, I could be wrong. I wanted to make literally anything because it's been maybe months since I made my last video, and I actually have footage of that second part from Everything is Going to Be Okay that I wanted to upload, and I never did. So it's just kind of sitting there. I also recorded an entire video about a game that I've been really obsessed with, and I found new friends, and they sort of introduced me to it, even though I've seen that game around, and I thought that it was a bit of a scam. But no, it turns out it's just one of those few times where something is actually too good to be true, and it is. And you don't get a lot of those. So that's what that game is all about. And I wanted to make some stuff regarding that game, maybe a quick guide so that all of my friends can kind of look it over and we can compare notes. And a lot of other people in our server are starting to kind of get into it, and I wanted to have a resource that I could just point them to give them sort of a rundown of the basics. By the way, this game is 0K, a real-time strategy game based off of the Supreme Commander and Total Annihilation system, where there's a lot of mines on the map, and you gotta make a little thingy for metal, and you gotta make energy buildings. And these games tend to have massive battles because there's usually no limit to the amount of units you can make. So you can have like thousands of units at a time on the map. Not that you will kind of ever get to unless the map is really big because of everything that's happening. But I digress. It's been 3 months. I wanted to make this video last week saying, oh, it's going to be almost 3 months. No, it has actually been 3 months since I restarted Art School for Digital Artists, Mark Brunet's art program. I got it like 4 years ago, and I kept looking back like, oh, I gotta go to the program. Oh, I can't understand this thing. I gotta practice, and then I don't practice, and then I say, oh, I'm not doing the thing. I should use this as like a reference point, and then go look for information to practice, and it just it never ends, and I never did anything, and I could have gone through the program like twice now because it takes, on average, if you're very diligent, it should take you 2 years minimum to get through the program. Obviously, if you want to take a little bit more time, there is no actual time limit. You just pay for the videos, you pay for the course, and whenever there are updates, which is what happened with me, you get those updates for free. And I think it is probably one of the greatest investments I have made in my entire life, and it's a very good art program. Now, the problem with that is that unless you are lucky enough to have a spot on the sort of the feedback version, where Mark himself will basically take your work and give you some feedback on it, there are limited spots. And even if there's a spot available, that's a lot of time out of his hands. And so he upped the price by at least $1,000 when I checked. So that's like, I don't really have the extra 1,500 bones to throw at that program. So I got the affordable self-learn version of the program, which shows the files, the homework, and you just have to go through and do it. Now, the problem with that is that one of the main things that not just Mark, but basically any teacher that you will go to will tell you when you're trying to learn specifically art, but I think this applies to anything that you're trying to learn, is that you need to have some feedback from any way, shape, or form. You got to get feedback, you got to get critique, and I always felt terrible because I don't really have anyone to offer me that kind of feedback. And so between trying to learn on my own, which is incredibly difficult because not only do you have to go through this whole trial and error process, but you also have to be critical from your own point of view. So if I see that there's something wrong, then oh yeah, it's there's something's wrong. Maybe the eye looks a little off. Maybe this isn't symmetrical or whatever. But how do I how do I fix that? You know, how do you fix a problem that you see, and how do you spot problems that you don't see? And so, one of the main ways to get feedback is to literally grab a picture that you're doing a study on, which is what you see in the background. And now I didn't do it with this picture specifically because I'm trying to kind of rush things, and that's a bit of a bad thing. But if I really wanted to sit down and do a proper study of this, I would grab that image, I would put it on the canvas, and I would grab my sketch and then layer it on top and see, okay, the shape of the head is wrong, the eye is off, etc., etc. And then I would go on and I would fix it. There's a ton of methods to do a proper study that I have learned and I am not applying right now, but that's also because I have a lot on my plate. And it doesn't feel like I have a lot on my plate, but I also want to get through these exercises and stuff as quickly as possible so that I can knock everything out of the way. And I realized that if I just keep getting more mileage, if I keep drawing, I keep trying and just grind and grind and grind, I will be able to get better and learn eventually. So I've been very diligent. I have been a diligent being. I've been doing every exercise to the best of my understanding and ability for 3 weeks straight. I am drawing 6 days a week. If the week by week thing, which by the way I was going to mention this, I completely forgot because ADHD. I think I have it. I probably do. I don't know. Undiagnosed. When I was in the middle of the program, I think it was a year in. The week by week schedule came out, which was a godsend for someone like me because the first schedule that Mark had posted on the program, that it came with, I mean, there were 2 versions. There were you have a lot of time and you can dedicate yourself all basically fully to, I want to say anywhere between 4 to 8 hours every single day. Here's the schedule. This is what you should be doing from this to that, And if you don't have that much time, if you only have maybe half an hour at most to spare, 15 minutes, then here is a shorter sort of here's what you should focus on to slowly build up your skills over time. Again, even though it's a minimum 2 years, that is the minimum. You can spend as long as you feel like you need to on the program. Obviously, if you don't do it at all, you're not going to improve, you're not going to learn anything, but everyone's schedule is different. So, this week by week thing is is what I needed because I didn't know anything about drawing at the time. I just knew that I wanted to do whatever all of those kids that were doing the animes of my school were doing. They got a little mechanical pencil and they were just sketching on their little notebooks and sketchbooks and I don't know. To me, that's what drawing has always been, just being able to draw anime from imagination. Not that I want to specifically draw anime. I don't know what I want to draw really. It's been a long journey for me because on one hand I know that I want to draw, but I don't know exactly how I want it to look. I don't know what the end goal is, and I've learned and I've realized that this is it. Like I can't. There's no point. This is the point. Right now I'm doing the thing, and eventually I'll get somewhere. So. Now I'm lost. What was I talking about? So I'm doing the week by week. I've been very diligent for 3 months now. For 6 days a week. 6 days a week. If it says daily do this thing, I do it that every day for 6 days. If it says complete an assignment, I complete the assignment throughout the week. I try to stretch it out. So right now I gotta do 10 head studies from photo reference, which is what you're seeing one of them now. And so I'm doing, okay, if I do 2 a week, I can do it in 5 days. And then I have the last day to either finish whatever I couldn't do or just, chill out and not have to worry as much. And then there is 5-minute poses, so that's 30 minutes. I wanted to do 40 to get more mileage in there, and I was doing 40-minute sessions. But then I said, this is starting to be a bit much with everything else on top. I think doing figure drawing it is very like it takes a lot out of you because like I sit there and for the duration of that session I would literally just glue myself to the screen, you know, image after image, just boom, 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 boom. And after the session's done, I'm like, oh dang, I really feel like I'm very tired now, and I literally have to get up, get some like a drink or something, walk around. It takes a lot out of you. So yeah, dang, I keep I keep skipping the one thing that the one point that I want to make. I keep skipping. Okay, so the schedule, it wasn't very good. So I'm sitting here with the program 2 or 3 years in, however long it was, and then this amazing week by week thing comes out. So in the middle of like term 2, which I am in right now, I say, okay, so since I did some work from on the beginning, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally, just skip whatever, power through it. You'll learn as you go. And I did. I started in the middle of term 2. I did. I started the week by week thing, but eventually I reached to a point where I wasn't fully understanding what I was supposed to do. I wasn't really learning. I felt very frustrated, and so that's where the sort of the blocks started to show up, and I was not able to keep up with the program. And so for I don't know 2 or 3 years, however long it's been, I've sort of been drifting. I did a little bit of Dropbox at the very beginning. I tried looking at books, but the books are always like I don't know. I think there's a disconnect between me and what the books are trying to teach me. Like like whenever you pick up a how to draw book, it just tells you how to do a thing, and then kind of like the meme with the owl, where it's like, oh, to draw an owl, you start with a circle and then you draw the whole owl. That's how it feels to read one of those how to draw books. And then any other book would have you do or teach you some, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's dry, but it's like it's a lot of words and there's not a lot of, oh, you should start by doing a thing, right? Which is something that I think those books were made for a different time, for a different kind of person. Because nowadays I don't like I didn't really understand. I'm like, where do I start? I don't like my handwriting is terrible. My penmanship, my pen control, pencil control, whatever you want to call it, not very good. It's not that it's shaky, it's that I can't do the lines that I want to make and all that. So that's one thing that I've been practicing a lot or trying to. And I gotta say, it's been getting better, but I still feel like I don't have full control over my own tool. And and I realized that it's because people back in the day were writing a lot and they had a lot of dexterity with their hands and their pens and all that. Nowadays we don't need or do any of that stuff. And I during my school time I didn't give a damn, like I learned how to draw cursive, and that was like my last writing achievement before getting a high grade on one of the standardized tests, which it's not that big of a deal. It was very formulaic. Honestly, I think if ChatGPT was around when I did that test, people probably would have said that it was AI generated. Although maybe not because of how shit ChatGPT is, but no well. Anyway, I think we're gonna end it there. Yeah, I did my art program. I'm doing stuff. I wanted to make tons of videos, and I am currently doing a little thing with some friends, and I have to work on that, which is another project. And I just have a lot to do. Even I didn't feel like I had a lot to do when I started the week, but this is starting to be overwhelming. All right, next up, I have to do some 3 and 4 point perspective stuff, so I'm gonna get to that. And then I'm gonna edit this video and hopefully post it and work on a video game. Hooray! Alright, I'll see you all later. If I have time and energy, I'll make more videos, but I just wanted to make this update. I hope it finds you well. The apocalypse is coming, so try to live life as best you can, because things are about to get so much worse. Oh my god. Yeah, I am honestly the happiest I've ever been. Find a community. Goodbye.